Defalsification of Indian history. Our national identity has been deliberately distorted by history written about us by invading aggressors. As a result, today our youth tend to be defensive and ashamed by the thousand-year-old history of India of being ruled by foreigners who came as looters, marauders, pillagers, and rapists. But in reality, we Hindus and those others who acknowledge their ancestors were Hindus instead should be proud of our history, even of what happened during the miserable 1,000 years. This is because the onslaught of Islam and Christianity on rampage in West Asia, Africa, and Europe was deflated and stopped in only India. Persia, Babylon, Byzantine, Turkey, and Egypt, all other great civilizations surrendered, capitulated to Islamic jihad within a few years. Iran in 17 years, Egypt in 21 years, and converted 100% to Islam, while Europe crumbled to Christianity in just half a century, each thereby wiping out their own initial identities. Even though India was looted, pirated, ravaged, ruled, raped for 1,000 years, unlike the other countries, Hindus as a collective group did not capitulate. Thus, India in 1947 was still of 80% Hindus of the unpartitioned Hindustan, 85% of the truncated India, and is still a continuing Hindu civilization. This is a matter to be proud of. We need to defalsify Indian history and update everything through scientific applications of satellite imaging, DNA analysis, etc., and even archaeology, etc. The Aryan invasion theory is the biggest lie which the British imperialists imposed on us, and the Muslim leaders happily accepted that for their own reasons. It's understandable. When a Hindu says that the land originally belongs to us, these scoundrels used this Aryan invasion theory to suggest that nobody really owns. You also came from Germany or Scandinavia, Aryans came from there. We also came from somewhere else. So, jiski lati, uski bhains. So, just shut up. So, this was the whole purpose behind promoting and propagating this insidious lie of the Aryan invasion theory, which Ambedkar himself condemned. All these Ambedkarites, I do not know why they are not reading that. Ambedkar refuted very clearly the whole theory of the word Dravida actually means South India. Dravida Shishu, Adi Shankaracharya, in his Shastrarth with Mandana Mishra, called himself a Dravida Shishu, a child where three oceans meet, that is South India. This Aryan Dravidian theory is a deliberate distortion and a lie. The Vijayanagara Empire and Shivaji and so many others resisted the onslaught of Islam. Vijayanagara Samrajyam lasted twice as long and over a much larger area than Mughal rule. Now, Vijayanagara Empire ruled for something like 250 years, and the kingdom was much bigger, much larger than the Mughal kingdom. But we never had a single lesson on Hakkaraya, Bukkaraya, or your Krishna Devaraya. But we had a lesson on all the scoundrels of Babar the pederast, who wrote love poems about Baburi in his own Babarnama. This scoundrel was a gangster, and all were drunkards except Akbar. All the others were scoundrels, bigots, drug addicts, and Babur was clearly a pederast, child molester, pedophile. Today he would be behind bars for what he did. So, and then the history of the Sikhs. Ranjit Singh never lost a battle. Banda Bahadur. And if you go on listing all the great heroes of Sikhism, you will be amazed. And we were not taught lessons about these personalities. The courageous defiance of Rana Pratap, Rani Jhansi, Rani Channamma, Kattabomman, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, all these are people who are worshipped as icons. Though they did not lead us to victory, they were defeated and killed. But one thing was certain, they had the courage of conviction in the face of huge odds not to submit to tyranny. even if it meant death or impoverishment. That courageous defiance is also part of the glorious legacy of Hindutva. Those who capitulated like Raja Mansingh or Jayachand or Pudukottai Raja in order to live in pomp and grandeur by capitulating before the invader for selfish motives and betraying our heroes in war with the aggressor are despised today by the people. So in Hindutva, character is of supreme importance. People who compromise on values and character are despised. The Paramacharya Shankaracharya of Kanchi in 1947 advised the Indian government. In fact, his statement was, Hindus today have won their freedom, but it has not been translated into civilizational independence, which is what he wanted the Congress to achieve, and it worked in the opposite direction. Prithviraj Chauhan did not realize the change of rules of combat and war. He was still hanging on to the dharmic principles of war. He should have killed Muhammad Ghori. After repeatedly defeating Muhammad Ghori also, he forgave him. Whereas Islam, our history, 1,000 years of slavery is what we know now. The difference was Chhatrapati Shivaji fully understood the perfidy of the aggressors and their progeny. Games, Machiavellian, deceptive, dangerous jihadi games. And they have the media also on their side. Hindus therefore have to accordingly devise a new strategy for dealing with such perfidious sophistication. This Aryan theory has been thrown into the dustbin thanks to the modern research on DNA by several Indians and Europeans. I am not giving the names of all of them here. And Cambridge University, UK, Dr. Gyaneshwar Chobi of the University of Tartu in Estonia, and Dr. Thomas Kidisild of Cambridge University. After 4 years of research on tens of thousands of samples, they came to even CCMB recently have come to the conclusion that all Indians had a common DNA, genetic traits, common, irrespective of the regions of India to which they belong to. Thus they rule out the so-called AIT, Aryan Invasion Theory. How did Buddhism disappear from India, the country of its origin? It was because of the Shastrarth, religious debates. Today we should openly challenge Christians and Muslims to come for a Shastrarth. Hindus never slaughtered any Buddhists. That is not how Buddhism was kicked out of this country. Buddhists were defeated by great Hindu scholars and even Jains. It is said that Ramanuja defeated 1,000 Jain scholars at one sitting in a Shastrarth, and all of them converted to Hinduism. So there are innumerable instances of, so Buddhism disappeared from India, the country of its origin, because all the Buddhists lost their debates. So this is a simple way we should challenge these Christian scholars and Muslim scholars to an open debate, and it will take a little effort on my part to tutor anybody, maybe a couple of hours. Any person with reasonably good communication skills will be able to punch holes into the Quran, the Bible, and all their other so-called holy books, which are full of absurdities, obscenities, vulgarities, brute violence, mindless superstition, and all kinds of obscurantist thinking.